yeah, we looking like giants. Trendsetter, high fashion, we stylish. Talking pressure on that, we apply. Not talking playgrounds when I say that we slide. Nigga going live from the bricks where they wildin'. Big P, the mama couldn't stop smiling.
Alright, so everybody been hearing what's been happening. Everybody been hearing the noise, but the casual listener or the casual person is not gonna understand like what's really going on here when we talk about the possibility that they might be banning TikTok in the US. Mm-hmm. So not too long ago, some U.S. lawmakers gathered in court for a congressional hearing with TikTok CEO. I wrote his name down, but it's Chinese. I would really rather not butcher his shit. You know what I'm saying? But the Chinese CEO of TikTok, he was sitting in front of a congressional court where they started, you know, they were pounding him and talking to him about, you know, the pressures of TikTok, the leaks. The idea that TikTok might compromise national security in the U.S. And so, as a side note, I looked at some of that shit because it was on World Star, and this old dude from Georgia, he looked like he has no idea what the fuck TikTok is. He was being questioned by, I saw the clip of him being questioned by a Georgia representative who, he looked like he had no idea what the fuck TikTok was, what it's for.
So you think they just put him up there?
He was well, I think he just looked like some old dude that don't like what the kids is doing nowadays. Here's the deal though, it gets real. There's something here. So there's a parent company that owns TikTok. It's named ByteDance. So the US is threatening a national ban if they don't sell, if ByteDance does not sell TikTok to another buyer that I assume is not Chinese. Here's what's happening. The politicians believe that the Chinese government got sweeping control over companies that are, you know, in China and their data. And so they believe that this gives China the potential to gather the information of about 150 million American users to use at their disposal and for whatever they need. Now, the TikTok CEO, this guy, he maintains that they never give information to the Chinese government and that they've never been asked to. Now, that's neither here nor there. You know,
I mean, that kind of is here or there.
Well, thing is,
that's a key part of it.
Well, of course he has to say that if he doesn't want it to be banned. I'm just saying it's not verifiable.
Oh yeah, facts.
And so he's maintaining that he hasn't done that, but there's been a couple of leaks here. I found that they've actually had employees that have used TikTok to spy on journalists and obtain their IP addresses and did so illegally and outside of the company's bounds and were ultimately fired because of it. That happened and they were fired, but that happened. There was a leak of information that came from TikTok, which gotta be why so many people are upset about this. Now, the reason why TikTok can be banned, this is a real possibility, is because TikTok is already entirely banned in India. TikTok is already banned here on government devices. TikTok is banned from government devices not only here in Britain, Canada, and Belgium. And so it's looking like the problem is that these countries, including ours, believe that TikTok has the power to influence the people that are watching. And since they can't control that message, it's dangerous. Not only that, but it gives the Chinese government seemingly has access to the information. So tell me, what's your thoughts on the TikTok ban?
If TikTok is indeed a threat to national security, then what the fuck y'all tripping for? Ban that shit. It's a threat to the life you live in the country you live in. Like, that shit is as simple as that. Now, do I think it's a threat? Maybe not.
Because that's important because he said that he's never given information to the Chinese government and that they've never asked.
Let's say he has. I think that they're doing the same shit Facebook does. And they're doing the same shit Instagram does, cause they they owned by the same motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying?
But
and then
you have to acknowledge that the threat is different.
Not given to the Chinese government.
Well, I'm saying you have to acknowledge that the threat is a bit different with it being with these companies being U.S. based. It's not necessarily one of the ops.
It depends on what company. Because you get on YouTube, you get on Instagram, or you don't even gotta get on Instagram or YouTube. You go and buy Louis Vuitton or buy Gucci or all that shit. Those aren't American based companies. Mm-hmm. And they get your information when you on their websites, or especially if you go to their website from a link on Facebook or Instagram or something, and then you buy certain shit, or you know what I'm saying, something like that. Or if I want to start a clothing company and I got to go through a third party site, and they're broadcasting my shit on Instagram, and you want to support my business, so you click it, that company could be sending your information out and shit like that. That's probably not an American based company. You know what I'm saying? So,
do you think it makes a difference at the amount of people that can be affected with TikTok as opposed to someone who purchased something from a third party company or a Louis Vuitton? We talking about 150 million Americans with this app on their phone. Now, when I listen to these guys, these old people that was questioning him, when I listened to them, they seem like they concerns were the app being on phones, as if it could access other data on your phone with it being there. Yeah.
Ads on TikTok too, and once you click that ad, I'm pretty sure y'all information can just automatically go in, cause your shit is on the phone.
They also express concern about facial recognition software, in the sense to where the same software that they use to find your face for filters and stuff, they were adamant that TikTok has been using that information and has been storing that information. Now, he says that they haven't been storing that information, but it looked like they fears is much more than information getting out. Their fears look like how much information. 150 million Americans seem a bit more than, the smaller amounts.
I guess I'm the wrong person to ask about that, because the same fear I would have of China with all that information or whatever is the same fear I got of America. I think that America will turn on us before China come over here and do anything to us. I think that we will be fucked by the American government, and we can go into conspiracy and all that shit another time, but I think we will be fucked by the American government well before China do anything over here.
Do you think that it makes sense that if these are their fears, that they should go ahead and ban TikTok in our country?
I mean, like I said, if it's a threat to national security,
well, I guess I make the argument.
They the ones that make the decision that if it's a threat or not me.
Well, I make the argument that I guess the way I see it, and this is probably primarily coming from that clip I saw of them questioning this man. I think the whole part about the Chinese government being so close to this situation, they might or might not have requested information. Well, let me not get off topic. I think that is important. That's important to know, and it serves as a real threat. But the other things that they seem to be concerned about, they just seem like some old folks that don't like the new shit.
Well, how close?
I don't think they understand it.
My two questions would be: one, who is the old guy? Like, does he hold some kind of position in the TikTok family? Like in the TikTok business?
He's the CEO.
He the CEO. Mm-hmm. Oh, so he probably know more than what you would think he know if he the CEO.
But no. I'm talking about that guy isn't that old. He's pretty young.
No,
I'm talking about
the old guy that you said was getting questioned.
Oh no. He was doing the questioning. The Georgia representative. So picture they in court all on a panel. When you're in a congressional hearing, it's not just a judge. It's a whole panel.
Yeah.
And picture that, and him on the other side having to answer these questions from old folks who don't understand how the app works. That's what I'm talking about.
I think in any case, if that's the setup, it's gonna always be old folks. The government is filled with nothing but old folks.
Yeah,
you gotta be a certain age to even get, and then there is no end to their terms. They can be this shit for 30, 40, 50 years. A lot of them have been until they get voted out. Number one. Number two is, if indeed this is national security. No, how can we even say China's government is close to this? Because it's in China and they saying, I wonder if you guys are giving China your information.
No, it's because of how huge the app is and how much access that app has to. I don't think that a Chinese company has ever had this kind of reach. Is what the problem is onto the devices of Americans. Over 150 mil is the estimate here. So I really think that's the thing.
That the government has their hand in Facebook. And they had their hand in Instagram and had their hand in YouTube?
Likely. What's likely is just that because these companies are based here or in Silicon Valley, that they're not as worried about it. Because the Chinese government is not going to come to them for that information. The American government will likely seize that information.
And that's why, that's what my mind go. When you tell me, oh, I'm worried about what China's government would do, and you sitting over here doing the same shit that you telling me China's government would do, why the fuck am I accepting it from you? It shouldn't be a problem that you doing it, that you taking all my data and misusing it and doing whatever the fuck you doing with it, selling and shit. You's trying to stop China from doing that shit. You doing it. Am I not supposed to be upset as an app user that you doing that shit?
Hey, I 100% agree with you, but I also think that it's worth it to admit that even if that's what's going on here, the likelihood, I don't agree with you on that other point that you made before, because I believe that the likelihood that China will use that information to actually do harm to us, and not that they would, I just think that the likelihood that they would or use it to gain an advantage on us, which I think they are likely to do, I think that could be much worse than Americans doing it. Like, one thing I don't believe that is highly likely is Americans destroying their own infrastructure on the behalf of information gathering. I don't believe, huh?
You gotta rebuild. Society becoming too rebellious.
No. I get that. I'm saying that I believe that they less likely to do it than a country that we have been at odds with for a while.
I don't think so. I think that what they saying we should be scared of over there, I think we should be scared of over here.
From the bricks where they wild and Big P, mama couldn't stop smiling.